Today's show is brought to you by Fame's Signature Group, Prescott Valley Entertainment District, where fun begins. Four Corners Restaurants. See you around the corner. And by Charlotte Hall Museum in Prescott, an Arizona history adventure.
Are you a woman and are you addicted to gambling? Well, if the answer is yes to that, there is hope out there. Hulen's hope. To be more specific, with us is Renee Siegel and Maureen Riley. Renee, you are the director of the facility, and Maureen, you are a past client. So that means that you at one time gambled.
Absolutely.
Okay. Would you say addicted?
Yes.
To what degree? How would you identify that? Can you give us kind of a picture that tells of the extent of your addiction?
Sure. The addiction took over my life. It became the most important thing in front of family, in front of job, and it just consumed my life where I thought of nothing else.
So you spent a lot of money?
Yes.
Was it the one-armed bandit that you were addicted to, or was it just all of gambling?
All of gambling, cards, slot machine. It just didn't matter as long as I was participating in it.
And how did it affect your life and your family's life?
Very drastically. I committed crimes to support my gambling habit, and was incarcerated and lost custody of my children at one point. And
Renee, the facility, give us a little background.
Well, the facility is called Hulen's Hope, and it's the first effort of a nonprofit, a new not-for-profit in Arizona called the Women's Red Tent. Hulen's Hope is the first gambling-specific residential treatment center in our country.
For women, or
for
just for
only.
women? Okay,
no, there are other gambling-specific residential facilities, but this is female only and the first of its kind in the country.
Why female only?
Well, the typical female entering treatment is generally in mid-40s and up. And the prevalence shows that the typical male coming into treatment right now in terms of prevalence is 18 to 25. And so you couple those people together and you get older women and younger men in a treatment center, and the women tend to do a lot of caretaking, and they lose the focus on their own recovery.
On their own recovery.
Right.
That's
they want to make food for, do laundry for, clean up after.
That's interesting.
Maureen, how did you get into this to where it hooked your life?
Yeah, how old? Yeah, starting the gambling.
Oh, I started very young, before I was 21. Most kids my age had fake IDs to drink, and mine was to gamble.
Illegal?
Yes, but it didn't matter. And it started until I continued for over 20 years.
Did you think you were going to make the big money?
Yes.
Is that what pulled you in?
That's part of the obsession. I'll win it back. I'll get it. This is only temporary, and then I'm going to fix everything once I win the money. That's part of the obsession.
Now, in gambling, do you feel, I might be parroting some information that's not correct here because we hear it. I may have watched too much TV on this one. But the gambling is a manifestation of other symptoms. It's a symptom of other problems.
Absolutely.
Is this correct?
Yeah, it is. And the core issues, once I received treatment, because I did go through treatment through a co-ed treatment center, and the core issues were dealt with then, but it was, I received help, but it was, it would have been more beneficial had I been with just women, because I was one of the 40-plus women with the younger guys in treatment, and I did a lot of work outside of treatment through the help of Renee.
Do we know why is typically women enter into the gambling phase and addiction later in life as opposed to men going early?
Simply because the issues of trauma, abuse, neglect, and loss show up on the radar screen later on in life.
Is it an escape for women?
Absolutely.
Was it an escape for you?
Yes.
I want to go back to that just a little bit. That didn't quite, it was a good answer, but just maybe it was me understanding. So issues that prompt the gambling in a person's life show up later for a woman?
Well, I think women spend a part of their life collecting issues of trauma, abuse, neglect, and loss. And
burying it?
Yes, and by the time they show up on the radar screen and they're really ready to deal with it, their children have generally either been taken from them, they've left home, but when those issues begin to surface and one can self-medicate through gambling, you dissociate through the process of gambling.
So that is what it's called? gambling is a self-medication type of thing?
It certainly
That's
is.
interesting.
So in other words, a woman holds it all in for a long period of time, and suddenly you see a way to get out. Is that different from? I mean, did alcohol enter into your life, or was the gambling? So
Yeah,
what?
it was specifically gambling for myself.
Do women or people who are addicted tend to isolate to the one? I mean, there can be smoking, there can be alcohol, there can be drugs, there can be gambling.
You have certain kinds of addicts. You can have a compulsively styled individual who will trade addictions, and that's not uncommon. I mean, and that trading addiction process is not uncommon. But this particular population of 45 plus, oftentimes we'll see gambling as the only addiction. They could have gone through their entire life without a traffic ticket, and then all of a sudden they find themselves embezzling funds from their employers.
Why? What is it about gambling?
Well, there's a lot of, we could spend an entire day talking about that, but basically the type of reinforcement is intermittent reinforcement. It means that not every time you do something do you have a positive consequence. So sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. If you were going to drink, you'd know that if you drank, there'd be a negative consequence.
Each time.
Each time. With gambling, that's not the case. Sometimes there's a positive outcome.
How did your family react? Did your family help you get into recovery, or how did they affect you?
Absolutely. I'm very blessed that my family's supportive. Most of my family's supportive of the disease, and it was actually through family and my attorney that found the treatment center through Renee and Rick that allowed me the opportunity to heal myself and do healing for my family.
Right now, this moment, this instant, sitting at this table, no desire to gamble?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. I just
How
celebrated
did you
4 years.
erase that totally? Because with alcoholism, they never stop being an alcoholic.
Well, you'll never stop being a compulsive gambler.
Right.
It's not that the urge, even though the urge is gone, I should let you address this.
Sure, yeah. I still, the thoughts do come periodically. There's no rhyme or reason for it. They do come. But I have the tools today to walk through those. I have a support system that's amazing through a GA program, and so I can walk through those urges, whereas before I had any kind of treatment or recovery, I would just acted on those impulses. The thought would come and I would go.
This is an amazing story,
Yeah,
very
really
interesting. Where can you be found, and how do they find you, Renee?
We have a website. It's called www.hulenshope.com, HULENSHOPE.com. Locally, people can call 480-991-9818 and gather some information, and we would be happy to respond to anybody that needs help.
And you're out of Scottsdale.
We are. Thank
Terrific.
you.
Renee,
thank you for being with us.
Fascinating story. Thank you for sharing it with us.
I'm sure you're helping a lot of women right now.
Oh,
Thank you for
definitely.
having us.
Definitely.
Thank you very, very much.